Hey guys, Alex here with Armadillo Armament, and today we are taking a look at my Ballistic Night Vision ACH helmet setup. Basically, I've made a lot of changes to my helmet over time, and I've seen actually a lot of comments recently of people asking me, hey, do you still recommend your old videos? And I do. However, I have made some slight modifications and kind of upgraded it, so I want you guys to see exactly what those upgrades are and give you guys a better idea as to what my setup looks like nowadays. The goal of this video is for, in as little time as possible, me to give you a rundown as to what I recommend and how it's all been working out for me. So let's start off with the most important piece. Two most important pieces are going to be your night vision and then your helmet. So the helmet is completely dictated on what you want to do. I started out with a Team Wendy bump, and that helmet is fantastic. However, I moved into a Ballistic ACH helmet. So this is actually ballistic rated. It is going to stop most pistol calibers up to, I believe, 44 Magnum. And most importantly, it can actually glance like 5.56 rounds if you play Tarkov, you know what I'm talking about. Now, on top of that, from a SPAL or a artillery capability, this is going to protect against those tiny metal fragments going through the air. Now, I recommend people go with ballistic helmets just because, honestly, I don't really see too much of a use with non-ballistic helmets. Team Wendy's, and maybe not just Team Wendy's, but these biking helmets and these bump helmets are fantastic if you want to save your neck and if you are just looking at this purely in a recreational sense. But for me, I definitely prefer ballistic because I'm running dual tubes anyway, so the weight actually helps counterbalance the unit. Now, on top of that, I don't know about you guys, but I'll be putting videos on the screen throughout this video. I see a lot of really stupid people at the range, and because of that, I like to wear body armor and a helmet, specifically a helmet. I can take a piece of frag to my leg and probably live. Some guy setting up a metal target 3 feet down range and shooting it, and hypothetically that piece of metal slings back at us and hits me in the head, I'm gone, right? I like to wear a helmet. There's a lot of really stupid people out there, as well as it just helps me counterbalance my setup. Now, this was cut by High Cut Conversions. I recommend you take a look at my prior videos. He did a fantastic job. And the ACH helmet is incredibly cheap. So you can find these in, like surplus stores or like a Goodwill for 50 bucks or 100 bucks sometimes. And then you can get yourself a nice ballistic helmet, send it over to High Cut Conversions for 100 bucks. They'll do the rest of the work for you. So let's continue to the other most important part of the setup, and that's going to be my nod system, or my nods rather. I used to live with a PVS 14. PVS 14s are fantastic. However, I did upgrade to these RNVGs. These are non-articulating, so they are fixed essentially. You can change the interpupillary distance, of course, but they are generally speaking fixed. They're not like PVS 31 alphas. And then I have it on a Argus mount. So this is a clone of a Wilcox G24. I didn't feel like spending 600 bucks. This clone has held up fantastic. I have a review of this on my channel and it still remains true. It's been absolutely fantastic. If you can make the jump to binos, I definitely recommend you do it. That being said, you can get by with a PVS 14. We all have to start somewhere, and jumping into 5, 6, 7, 8K nods maybe isn't the best idea. This is actually a green phosphor unit. I got these for a steal. SNR Industries, I believe, and then I have them wrapped in a multicam Tropic wrap. Speaking of, you will see here that I have a multicam Tropic ghillie wrap, essentially made by, I believe, these combat systems, but I have a video on my channel. I like this because it does obviously reduce your signature, but also it just looks really freaking cool. And I actually use it for cable management a lot. So I actually wire my Comtac 5s through this netting. So I do think having netting on your helmet is kind of like a net positive, and I recommend it to people. Now, on the left side of my helmet, I just have a X300 Ultra on a Unity knuckle mount over here. The knuckle mount articulates, which is what makes it very interesting. This X300 has kind of been around, and it's kind of just like one of the flashlights I had lying around. I would prefer to have either a stock or like a vampire over here, so I do have that IR spill. I can, point this up at the ceiling and flood that ceiling. But the X300 does a really good job, and what's really fun about it is if you're out night hiking with friends, you can just do one of these. Bam, and then you look back at your friend, you do that, and then they can't see for the next couple seconds. That's not true. Night vision is auto gating. That is auto gating. Gen 1 didn't, Gen 2 maybe. Gen 3 night vision has a pretty good auto gating capability. But regardless, it's kind of fun to blind your friends. Taking a look at the other most important parts of the the helmet setup, I have my headphones. These are actually Comtac 5s or Peltor Comtac 5s that I upgraded to. So these actually have a down lead. And what this is for is it is going to have much better hearing capability. It is much better than my old Defenders I had, and then I do prefer these over Sordans. You kind of do have to get these, well, you don't have to get them on the gray market, but I got them on the gray market for a little bit cheaper, otherwise you're gonna be paying out the ass. And what you do is I just put my headphone back like this, and I actually bought one of these little loops on Amazon to hold my cables, and it's done a pretty good job of holding that down lead for when I do need to connect it to my PTT. I'm able to do so. Comtac 5s, I do have the gel cups on these. These gel cups are incredibly comfortable. I highly recommend them. And my apologies for the angles, not the best angles. That's why I'm going to be giving you video on the screen right now to try and show you these headsets. Over here, I have a retention lanyard. This retention lanyard is made by Kinetic Consulting, and this actually connects to my nods. So in the off chance I do get caught on like a branch, it doesn't rip my, my head off or rip my nods out and break them. It is going to be retained by that lanyard. And it's important to note here that I've actually changed my headphone mounting solution. I used to be using the Unity system, which was made more so for breachers, where they didn't have a click out capability. But with this, you are able to click them in and you are able to click them out. So if you want to get air on your ears in the middle of, an operation, or you're doing air softening and you want to get some air on your ears, you're able to do that. And it's a lot more comfortable than just having them there 24/7. And then over here, I have a strobe. So strobes are something you can really get down the rabbit hole on. I like to have strobes so I can push a little bit of strobe downrange when my friends and I are shooting or we're walking on a trail, which we do. Strobes can be incredibly bright, I would say. So as such, if you got a full power strobe really, or a strobe that's not like adjustable, or one that's just, ludicrously bright, it can be kind of annoying. So a lot of people just prefer to have IR patches. That being said, I like to have a strobe just in case I do need to use it and I'm on like a hot range. And then almost last but not least, I have a pouch in the back. This pouch is actually something that I purchased on Amazon. And Amazon is a recurring theme here. You can buy these from the likes of, many night vision network companies, and they're going to be like $100, right? Like the Mohawk, right? TNBC. You can get these on Amazon for like $10, and I actually store batteries in here. I do have a counterweight system, but I've learned over time that I just prefer to have batteries in the back and not counterweights in there, because I don't want to use fake weight. I want to only have important weights on my head, because your head is very, very fragile. So now, last but not least, and this is one of the most important things that I really wanted to show you guys, is the inside padding here. So as you can see, I'm using the standard Team Wendy BOA system that was ripped out of my old Team Wendy helmet. But over here, we have these pads, and these pads are absolute lifesavers. I'm gonna put a picture of them on the screen right now. But basically they are, during the colder months, they are going to kind of stiffen up a little bit. I've noticed over time, especially right now, I'm clicking in on it and it's a little bit chilly in here. But they're going to stiffen up, but they just provide a perfect amount of cushion. They're so much better than the previous Team Wendy pads that I had in here, and they're much better than the standard ACH pads. The hardhead veterans pads are apparently pretty good. Not that I don't recommend that company, but I've heard those are pretty good. They're lattice type system. But these right here, which the name eludes me on, I'll be putting a picture on the screen, have been absolutely fantastic, and I'm able to wear this helmet for hours on end. This BOA system back here is actually still quite good. I'm pretty happy with the Team Wendy suite. I just really, really, really love these pads. The 4D pads, I believe is what they're called. So overall, that is a really quick review of my helmet setup, because I know a lot of people have been asking. Chime in down below if you have any questions. This has been a really large work in progress. Helmets are something that are so unique to you. It's not something that you can just copy my setup. You really have to make it your own. So if you have any questions about what works for me and what hasn't worked for me and how I've kind of fixed that issue, please sound off down below. Happy to answer it. Thanks for tuning into the channel, guys, for this really quick video, and I'll catch you in the next one.